sometimes they can be like, okay, what do you know that is contemporary, that is happening in this country right now that you can talk about, and maybe you don't know anything. And then sometimes they can also be like, okay, now why UK? And then you haven't done any research on maybe on your universities, why UK? You need to kind of like, as much as the easy answer is there is good education, but what is that definition of good education? It has to be more specific. You're like, okay, yeah, they have first class universities. What does that mean to you? So maybe it could mean that you have research, and then maybe in the course that you've chosen, there's maybe a specific module that you have read and you think it would be beneficial to you. Maybe there's a specific research project. Like, you have to kind of like go more into details to, rather than all these like big blanket ideas.
Okay. So let me give an example about what you've just mentioned. So I did a research because I wanted to start health data science because I wanted to be a champion in health tech in my country. So I had to pass through to see what is happening in the UK as far as innovation in healthcare is concerned. And I knew a couple of things which I actually mentioned during my interview, and actually in one way or another, I think they also added some value. Yeah, so I mentioned that the United Kingdom was one of the few countries to detect the presence of new Delta variant of COVID-19 by the time.
Yeah, 2023 was it?
Yeah, exactly, 2022.
Oh, 2020.
Yeah, so it was detected in 2020 actually. Yeah, so I say that, I mentioned that, but also I did some research on my university about the projects which are ongoing in the university. For instance, there is the so-called SAIL data bank, which is one of the biggest repository of health data in the United Kingdom. I said about the research which were ongoing by the time in the university specifically. So these people saw that I had done a lot of research, and I have reasons to say that why I want to go to United Kingdom and why I want to go to Swansea University, because specifically I knew exactly what I want.
Yeah.
So that really adds value. But you can go further in, like, not only in this academic part, you can also go on the social part.
Social part,
like, yeah. You want to go to Swansea. I'm a football fan. I know there's a good football club over here.
Yeah.
I would socially at some point I'll be going and watch football match. I've gone only once. You see,
Yeah.
I love poetry. This Swansea is
You also chose Swansea because of
Dylan Thomas.
Thomas, the writer.
Who is a very popular poet. And it's like, if you talk about Swansea, you talk about Dylan Thomas. I mean, it used to be known as a town of poetry back in days. Now it's changed a little bit, but still you can see Dylan Thomas everywhere, right? And I didn't visit Dylan Thomas at least after like 6 months or something. So I didn't know where Dylan Thomas statue is. Yeah, but yeah, exactly. So those kind of stuff, they really adds value and life to your interview.
Yeah, they also add a touch of personality. So, for example, imagine just think if you were on the other side of the people interviewing, and everyone comes and talk more or less the same things. Then your mind is like, you're not going to be able to remember. But if somebody speaks about something that is like very personal to them, if they speak about different things that kind of like moves them, it's very easy to remember. And it's just a way how humans get touched by personal stories. And at the end of the time, as much as it is an interview, you are telling your story. So you want your story to resonate to the person who's listening to you. You want them to see that it's a story that should go further and further. It's a story that should be told like more often, or maybe you should make like another volume of the story.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and when I was saying about like making sure that you show a sign of life, growth. So there are some things that we write in our essays, like I'm doing a certain project. But make sure that when you go at that time, give the update of what has been happening. Like, this project, has it ended? Is it ongoing? What are the success of the project? What are the challenges you're passing through? What are you looking forward to do after doing that project? Because these people, they read our essays, they do research. When you go there, they know you, they know a bit of your information. So if you show continuation from when you wrote the essays, what has been happening until this time, they see that this person is really motivated, he wants to do this thing, and when we give this person a scholarship, is going to be like to perform better. I mean, sorry, to perform better, to do more, right? You understand?
Yeah.
So they see like this is a person who is constantly doing stuff, and
Yeah.
if he gets the scholarship, he's gonna do better.
Yeah. That's definitely, that's very true. And I feel like for me, one of the things I feel that I didn't do well on the first interview was there wasn't a sense of clarity. I feel like there was growth in me, but I failed to kind of like communicate that clarity of my growth. And also I think that I hadn't really, I I was a bit conflicted on the direction of where I want to go, because like for me, I'm a pharmacist, but also I'm a curator and artist manager. So I feel like at that time I hadn't sorted that confusion, and it kind of like, as much as you don't see it, it kind of like interfered with my interview. At least that is the hypothesis I have.
Yeah. It's very important to show like interconnectedness of your journey, your profession, your cause, and where you want to go. So I'm a pharmacist like you. I used to do hospital pharmacy by the time, and also public health, and I wanted to gain more insight on the tech industry, like to understand how I can leverage tech in healthcare. So that's why I wanted to move from just not being a pharmacist, but also being a health data scientist. So I tried my best to connect that, and I made sure that the story is like consistent throughout, and I made them understand that okay, this guy is someone knows where he's going, right? I'm not saying that my interview was perfect, but I did the best, and I think most of the things I did, maybe they really helped me.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I think maybe something that we can think of. You said your interview was not the best. Is I think it's the idea that you put your best foot forward, and also it's sometimes you're going to forget something, you're going maybe to stumble, but the thing is it shouldn't kind of like take you entirely out of the rail, and you shouldn't punish yourself because you didn't remember exactly the references that you wanted to say, because sometimes maybe they don't ask you the question that you were rehearsing. Yeah, because we prepared, there are like some different questions that you can find that like most commonly asked questions, but sometimes they don't ask you those questions.
Yeah.
And there is this perfect question that you had prepared. If they ask you that question, they will be shattered.
Over for them.
It's over. It's over.
I actually remember that I used to prepare some things, and I said I will make sure that I'm trying to find some places where I will say these things, because I thought they were very important to add value. But unfortunately, the questions didn't pass through those things. And then I was trying to figure out like, where am I going to say these things? Then at the end, they gave me a chance to say like, do you have anything to say? I was like, no, this is the time. I made sure that I'm forcing the things to speak like everything that I actually plan to speak. And I think I forgot some of the stuff as well. So you can't do everything. Just do your best, the best you can do. And also maybe to add, there's something else people forget. They don't have questions. You should have questions to ask.
At the end.
Yeah, because at the end they'll ask you like, do you have any questions? So keep on showing that you are interesting and you are interested in what you're doing, right? So I usually think that you can have two questions, maybe two or three. Make sure that one question will make them think something that they never thought. Make sure that you give a question which will make them explain themselves. Like, yeah, maybe you can, yeah, this kind of questions like their personal experience about something related to the scholarship. You understand? Make them speak as well. Make them feel good that this person is a good person. We can talk to this person. We can communicate with this person. You understand?
Yeah. And it's actually very the questions, I think you can actually think of these questions beforehand, because so for example, for our panels, they introduce themselves of course beforehand, and there was a previous Chevening scholar, there was UK Chevening Chevening representative, and then I think two Chevening representatives. Yeah. So I think you can even pick maybe for the Chevening Scholar, Chevening Alumni, you can ask maybe how was your experience in UK, because it's like they've already gone through that road. Like you can pick the questions either to Chevening, like let's say if you're, so for example, let me remember exactly what I asked. So one of the guys in the panels said that he's been a part of the panel for reviewing Cheveners for quite some time. So I was like, okay, that is very interesting. So that you've been like doing this over and over. And then what I had asked him is, I asked him like throughout the process, is there anything interesting that he has learned from listening to all these different interviews, and if there's something that he could share with me. And he was like very happy. He talked about how he's been meeting people with very interesting stories, and this was the second interview, and he actually kind of like paraphrased my interview to him. It's like he said, because I'm a pharmacist and I'm also interested in art, but mostly like merging the power of art into delivering health information. So he was like, yeah, so I've been able to meet different interesting Cheveners. For example, like you, I'm seeing people who are mixing disciplinaries that usually don't always, we don't always see them coming together. For example, you have a pharmacy background, but also you're an artist, so you are using your creativity to deliver health information. And I've also met a lot of, he kept on giving me examples and example. He was actually smiling, so we even ended up talking and laughing. I feel like we actually spent a bit of even like 5 minutes or so of him talking about his experience, and you could see he was happy.
Make them feel good, because when you make, you remember, like there's a quote from Maya Angelou that people forget what you did, what you say, how you made them feel. You understand? Make them feel something, because by that point you make them feel something about you and about themselves, about the total atmosphere. They'll remember you for sure. That guy who said this, that guy, and that is the beginning of you getting shortlisted and getting the interview. So
that guy, that was memorable.
Yes. Something else I remember. I don't remember what I asked. I mean, I think I asked two questions. One was like a bit technical, and one I asked them if they are proud about the Chevening scholars from Tanzania.
Oh,
yeah,
that is interesting.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, they would say yes, and also the good thing is, I said already about people who were like the role models, Cheveners from Tanzania, that we look at, like the likes of Karondosi.
Karondosi, kama angekuwa ana nini, anakuwa pinched, anasikia kupinchiwa akitajwa na Chevening.
And Togolani, these are the Cheveners that we know. They're very popular. And so when they were answering my question, they say that obviously we are proud. There are some people who are doing so many things, and you have, like, as you have mentioned, someone and someone, right? So that shows that they still remembered the replies of my questions. You understand? That shows like your interview was kind of interesting. That you made life throughout. You understand?